Alright, hey, Rifters, what's happening? Cymatic, Bruce here, and we have begun TalkVR with me, Cymatic Bruce, what's happening? Yeah! Nice guy got it! Space Ghost! Coast to coast, baby! Yes! Very good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. We are in there. Here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to VR Talk with Cymatic Bruce. I'm your humble host, Bruce, and we are about to do this. Oh man. Oof. That is wild. My bandwidth looks horrible. It looks bad. How is the stream going? Okay, now it's back. I don't know what that was about. That's really weird. Anyway, very good, very good, very good. Excellent. So this is what we are doing tonight. We are going to be discussing all types of random things. It's going to be all over the place. One of them is virtual reality controllers. There was a thrilling conversation on the subreddit today about that, which is cool. We're going to be talking about a little bit about the Colorado VR Meetup, man. I spoke to those guys for a little bit earlier today. That was really fun. And we'll talk a little bit about the latest word from Xbox co-founder Ed Freeze, what he has to say about this ridiculousness, about being a VR skeptic, and we'll see what points are brought up there. And we're going to take in calls, man. I want people to call in. Cymatic.Hitbox. We're going to do this talk show style. Give you your input, your thoughts, and let you talk for a while, and we'll chat, and then you hang up and let the next person go. So that's pretty much how it's doing. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So I am a Hitbox partner now, which means you should be able to adjust the stream quality, broadcast quality, or whatever, to adjust your bandwidth to your bandwidth quality. So that should be great. Excellent, excellent, excellent. What's up, everyone? Micah has been here. Caliber's been here since hours ago. Thank you, my friend. Jay Brarelli, Nico Kuhn, Achilles 1. What's happening? I'm so big. You think I'm big in this desk? Watch this. This is a great trick. Look at this. Oh my god. It's so weird. It's such a play. It's just like, I am now growing. It's ridiculous. Oh, I had so much fun making this set, dude. This is pretty cool. This is from Space Ghost Coast to Coast. From all of you youngins out there that don't know what this represents, but this is a show in late 90s, early 2000s, and it was absolutely random and hilarious. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, just trying to increase the quality here a little bit, do some random things, and have some fun as well, induce that nostalgia. All right, excellent. So our first topic of conversation, we're just going to go ahead and bring it up. The first thing is virtual reality controllers. There was an interesting article a little while back that was on The Verge about controllers and the Oculus Rift. It was talking about, all the different inputs that people are working on, from the Omni to the Razer Hydra, which is now going to become the 6-sense stem, and also the tactical haptics. This is like an early tactical haptics model, I think that's there here. Some video from Survios, which is a combination of a lot of those things, and yeah, basically, trying to also kind of ends the article on this note on what Oculus is thinking about doing that in-house, solving that problem themselves. So very interesting stuff. And so you have that going on. It's like, okay, and then on the subreddit, there was a couple threads about this today, and the interesting one was brought up was like, hey, as a dev, I'm trying to make the best experience possible and reach the widest audience possible. And I need to know about some kind of standard. What are most people going to have? And at this point, it looks like most people are going to have a mouse and keyboard, unless Oculus packs something in. And the longer Oculus stays mum on this subject, the harder it is on a dev that has limited time and limited resources that they have to make their VR experience. Doc Ock made a great point about basically, designing your experience for what you like best, or what, the highest quality, what you think is the highest quality experience, and then putting in lesser quality experiences for other inputs, like say, hey, you're all about the 6-inch stem, you made an excellent experience for that, and then you kind of, make sure that it's still compatible with Xbox pad and keyboard and mouse, but the best experience is going to be using the stem, for example. But hey, not every developer has all that time and energy to do that. So we shall see what happens. But let's see what the chat says about this, and then let's get some calls in too. Get some people to call in and chime in about what they think about the VR input situation, the controller situation. So Caliber's talking about gloves. Caliber knows firsthand exactly how hard gloves are. Speaking of hands, look at what I just got in the mail. I met the Leap folks at the GDC VR mixer that we put on with SFVR, and I got myself a Leap Motion. They've totally redone the SDK to get skeletal models of the hand instead of just a point cloud. So it actually gets a skeleton that does this, which is pretty awesome. And they also have a mode in the SDK to put this upside down and attach it to your headset, so it's like, getting your hands down here. So I will be checking this out and seeing exactly how well it works. Just got it just a couple hours ago, which is pretty sweet. So there we go. Yeah, I don't know how practical it is, or what's going to go on, and in line of sight, that's it. That's important too. So yeah, the latency wasn't too bad when they had just a bare bones SDK stuff running, and it looked pretty good. I don't know, like within a game and within a situation, how well that'll look, but hey, I mean, that seemed pretty sweet. Let me get online here. And if anyone wants to call in, feel free to chime in about this particular subject. Oh, Micah, I didn't see it, dude. I'm sorry. I have the Skype on silent, so it doesn't like make all kinds of noises while I'm talking to people or while the stream is going on. So call again, Micah. There we go. Hello, welcome to the Cymatic Bruce Show.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's happening? Oh, wait a minute. Michael, hold on. There's one thing I have to do here.
All right.
In true Space Ghost fashion, here we go. We're just gonna bring down the TV. We're gonna bring down the TV, dude. Gotta do this. Here we go. And Skype. There we go. We're in there. We're ready. All right, excellent. With true Space Ghost fashion here. All right, Micah, dude, give me your thoughts. First of all, hello. It's a pleasure to talk to you and meet you, my friend.
You too.
Dude, this is awesome.
It's very cool.
Nice. Sweet, man. So what are your thoughts, man? VR control. You're working in UE4 right now, making all kinds of sweet stuff. What are your thoughts on VR control? Tell me something.
Well, originally I had this idea to where, they're working with mobile technology for the headset, so why not use mobile technology for the input devices? And I was thinking maybe you could have like a mobile input device on each hand and use that for each glove. And I was kind of sticking with that for a while, and then I just kind of lost sight. But I was going to try and make something with that. But ultimately, I think that Oculus should actually make some sort of input device.
Totally.
It'd be
totally
cool
agree.
for them to just package it up with it and send it along, and then everyone would be good to go.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go, man. I think it's going to be, everything's going to be easier if Oculus just packs something in. I think that is definitely the way to go. I totally agree. So yeah, thank you for your input, Micah. That was awesome.
Oh, thanks.
And I'm gonna get my next caller in here. All right.
All right, later.
Later. Someone said, interrupt and cut the Zorak. That's awesome. All right. There we go. Oh, we got someone in.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Thank you for calling the Cymatic Bruce Talk VR. How's it going? Oh. Can you hear me?
Sorry about that. It set my microphone as we speak.
Oh, there we go. Excellent. All right. So, Mr. Randy Phillips, hello. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Excellent, excellent. Now, tell me something, man. What do you think about this VR controller situation? What are your thoughts?
A lot. This is Caliber, by the way.
Caliber! Oh, this is Caliber right here. Yes! That's what I'm talking about. What's happening, man?
Nothing much.
Let me give you compliments on that Attack on Titan demo. It was freaking sweet. And that was awesome. I love it. All right.
Yeah, I already have a Titan animated in it now. Just not moving around yet.
Oh, I can't wait.
But you can jump on his back.
Oh, sick.
Gliders and stuff are set up.
All
But
right.
anyway.
Nice. So, give me some thoughts on this VR input situation, man. What are you thinking here?
Well, like leap motion and such, as I was saying in the chat, I just have an issue with, line of sight. If you block your hand, you can't see the other hand. So what's it doing?
Yes. Yeah. Another issue with leap motion as well was like, is like I said with the SDK, it gets this with the leap motion below you, but you turn around and what is it getting? It's like it doesn't know what to do with the back of the hand very much, or if you're doing something, different, like it totally loses you if you start doing something like this, or
It also has the issue of field of view. It can't see, if you put your hand on the desk, it can't see your hand on the desk if it is on the desk. Or if you lift your hands above your head, if it's mounted to your head. So
yeah, there definitely are limitations there. You have to have your heads right in front of your face at all times. So yeah, definitely valid point. What is your preferred input method? Like the things that you design, what are you going to be designing for?
Well, my main idea is to have each joint of the finger tracked, so you don't have to worry about it looking wrong. And if you do that, it's just a little simpler.
Definitely.
The other thing is it's very cheap to use something like a potentiometer, which is like a volume knob, instead of a flex sensor, because flex sensors are like $13 per flex sensor. So you add up just 4 fingers, and that's already $52. Whereas with potentiometers, it's around 2.
Yeah, it's good to go cheap.
Theoretically, I could get each glove to be around $30 to $40 if I do it right.
Nice. Sounds good to me. Glove situations, I think, I like it. I like being able to, get as close as I can to have my hand fully in the game experience. I think that's the immersion we want, right? We want as close as we can get to our hands being in there, and also even getting some feedback from the environment. I mean, that would be awesome.
Yeah. There are some people actually working on a glove that gets the feedback you've had. I think you've talked with them. The people doing Gauntlet. They had like the wire strings and servos and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting solution. Definitely. All right. Caliber, thank you so much. We're going to move on to the next caller. Thanks for your input, dude.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right. We have another call on the line. Welcome to Talk VR. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hey, make sure. Are you talking to Charles A or somebody else?
I'm talking to Charles A.
Okay, I saw a different photo on the screen.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a little interesting there.
Again, still haven't updated my photo, but I posted this new green on Reddit. So.
All right. Awesome. Sweet.
All right. So as far as the input devices, I've posted a couple of subjects on this. One of them, I think, is you mentioned when it has to do with dealing with smartphones or tablets. Smartphones and tablets, you already have motion control. So why don't we just put in virtual smartphones and tablets that are controlled by your actual smartphone and tablet? So when you move your smartphone around in the real world, you're seeing it in the virtual world. And then since it's got a touch screen, when you touch the screen on the real world, you're seeing it being touched in the virtual world. Okay, you can't put your hands in the game at the moment because that's kind of difficult to do, but this sounds like a very low-hanging fruit to where you can put a control for anybody. And smartphone, usually if you have a smartphone or if you have a Rift, you're probably going to have a smartphone of some sort. Yeah, okay, if you have an iPhone, you're going to be kind of SOL like myself, but at least if you got smart people with Androids, then they'll be loving life.
That's an interesting concept, one that I've never heard brought up before.
Well, when I did bring it up, and because I was asking, hey, has this existed for Unity? The only thing I saw for Unity was some $100 production, which is they wanted to act like it was a joint on your arm. I thought, well, that's kind of wasting an opportunity of everything that a smartphone offers. If easiest way is like, again, you can either have towards 1-to-1 or you can have towards a bigger screen. So touch a object in the game. Now you control the orientation with the smart pad. Touch again. Now you can see where your screen is at. It could be on a wall, in your hands, anywhere. It just sounds like low-hanging fruit. I'm just surprised no one's ever developed anything for it yet.
Awesome. That is a fascinating idea. What's that?
Yeah, I'll take your answer offline.
All right, excellent. Thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate it. That's awesome.
Yep.
All right. Oh, dude, that's an amazing idea. Using your smartphone that most people already have, and you know, it's already a motion controller. It has accelerometer, it has a gyro inside. How, you know, connect to your smartphone via whatever. I mean, the smartphone can connect via your computer, via Bluetooth, via even USB. You get a long enough cable. And there's your motion controller right there. Everyone already has a motion controller. It's your smartphone. That is kind of a brilliant idea. And I think someone's going to steal it. Someone is already talking in the chat about stealing that idea, if I'm not mistaken. Excellent. Charles, dude, that is a great idea. A very interesting idea indeed. I like that. Let's use the motion controllers that everyone already has. Okay, I could dig that. Someone is calling me. Here we go. Answer. Thank you for calling TalkVR. This is Bruce.
Hey, what's going on, Bruce? It's Philly, man.
Hey, what's happening, Philly, man? It is great to hear your voice and see your face once again. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. All right, everybody. Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this VR input situation because, you know, I hear a lot of people that are talking about, you know, Oculus should have a packed-in, in-the-box solution. And, you know, I'm definitely a fan of that. You know, the only problem is how exactly is that going to be cost-effective for people, you know? You know, I myself invest a lot into VR. I got the Hydra over here on the desk, you know, and I got you know, all this different stuff. You know, I'm definitely, you know, on top of things. But, you know, if we put a motion controller option inside the box, man, you're looking at, you know, the Rift probably going up to maybe $400, $500 if it's going to be anything as good as the stem or something like that. Because, you know, the stem in itself, that's a great solution. But that is like $300, you know, entry level, $500 to really have the full experience, you know?
That is an excellent point. That is an excellent point. But Oculus now has Facebook money. Palmer himself Palmer himself has said now we're going to be able to sell Rifts at cost. They don't have to worry about making money on the hardware anymore because they have those ducats behind them. So, you know, what if for that $350 they could pack in the controller? Would you still be in favor, or is that the only objection you have?
You see, it's not really my problem. It's more so I see it like it's a mass adoption type problem. You know, I want more people to get VR, and you know, you got to think about it, man. You got to run it on some pretty nice computers. You know, a lot of the guys, I have an Xbox Live, and a lot of the guys I know on there, I'm always talking about the Rift to them, and I'm like, yo, when are you gonna get your graphics card? These guys don't know what the hell I'm talking about. They have no interest in investing in any of that, you know, because they're just looking at it like, man, I got to go buy a couple $100 for a thing to put in my computer. They don't even have the quad-core chipset to even pair it with, and then you're talking about raising the cost of the Rift. You know, honestly, the Rift just needs to be as cheap as possible. We just need to forego motion controllers right now, get that thing out. When the technology improves, CV2, you know, we can definitely dive in and have a standard for everybody, you know? That's what I think, at least.
Hey, I definitely, I can see that point. That's a valid point. Yeah, I agree. Hey, if we're trying to make this first step, have as many people as possible on the VR train, make it as cheap as possible, make it easy to get on board, and just design games that go to the lowest common denominator. Hey, make it work. Make the keyboard and mouse work. Hey, that's an interesting. Yeah. Interesting point of view.
I got a Prio, so I'll be fine. But
yeah, well, I got my Prio VR in, so you know. All right, man. Thanks for your input, man. Appreciate it, Philly. Excellent, man. So that was an interesting point. There's a lot of people. I mean, most people, if they're casual, they probably have a laptop, and the laptop is certainly not enough to power a Rift, right? Oh, we have another caller. Here we go. Thank you for calling the Talk VR show. You're talking to Cymatic Bruce. This is DubZeebD. How's it going, man?
Hey, man.
Excellent. Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
That's fantastic. Give me some words on this VR controller situation.
There's a lot of good points that have already come up so far in the talk, I think. Like talking about optical tracking. One of the biggest problems with optical tracking, like we said, is, you know, you lose the tracking of the fingers and the hands. The benefit over optical tracking within sensor-based systems, in my opinion, is that cost is much lower on optical systems. Latency might be much higher. As far as STEM, you know, STEM versus Prio VR, you know, with the recent price hike on STEM, especially, it's going to be a little bit discouraging to consumers to you have to buy an Oculus and to buy a STEM controller.
Absolutely.
Because Oculus is a platform with the recent, you know, Facebook purchase. Definitely is going to it's definitely going to get into the consumer market, and I don't think it's going to be as niche as people thought it was going to be. But in the years to come, I think that tracking might be the niche market now. So things like this are what's going to be separate the people who have the Oculus Rift from the people who have the Oculus Rift and the tracking solutions.
Yeah, I think it's going to become the new 3 monitors, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, you know, some of you are gamers and some of you are gamers. Like, you know, like, you know, it's like, yeah, you got a Rift. Oh, that's cool, bro. Like, like I have a room.
As far as you know, VR enthusiasts go, you know, we all have the early adopter stuff. You know, you got all of it. You've pre-ordered Prio VR, and I know I have a Hydra in the closet just waiting to be used.
Absolutely.
But if you saw something I thought was really interesting, probably, you know, it's prohibitively expensive because it's used for motion capture, but there was an IGS glove post on the Reddit a few days ago.
Yes.
And that was really cool. The individual finger modeling that they were doing with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can get it in 3D. I don't know if it's just for the hands or not, though.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Seeing that video, and yeah, I do wonder how that's gonna work. You know, I think anything that gets as close to your real hands as possible, I think is really good. Like, yeah, I tried the Sins 3D camera from Creative. This guy Soft Kinetics actually is like, this company is doing this stuff where they mount the camera on the Rift, and you just see your actual hands in the game and in 3 dimensions, which is amazing. But it's kind of rough because your hands have to be right in front of you. So if you're doing something and you look over here, like, your hands are gone, like they're completely gone. So it's like, oh no! So you have to.
I'm gonna love to see what happens with things like that with the DevKit 2, with the integrated USB port in the front there. I'm sure people will be experimenting with things like that all the time.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm definitely looking forward to a lot of experiments as an early adapter, or adopter rather, and see what people are going to come up with from Leap to Omni, and everything in between.
As a question for you,
yeah,
would you sacrifice some quality in tracking if you could get haptics, such as Tactical Haptics, their system? Because I don't know what'll come first. I don't know if you're going to get haptic feedback before you get really high quality motion capture.
Yeah. I can tell you this. If I had, I would love to have this Prio VR. Creo VR on my
golden
body
ticket.
and tactical haptics in my hands. I think that's like great. Like tactical, I actually talked to the tactical haptics guys at GDC, and they had some new stuff where it was really subtle, like riding a roller coaster, and they have it so it just feels like you're holding on to the edge of the roller coaster, and like the rumble and like the tension that you feel as the roller coaster turns. Oh man,
cool.
It was really cool.
I'd love to try it. I mean, that sounds great.
It's very neat. Yeah, I think that having that feedback just adds so much. Or like putting your hands, like, you know, out and grabbing a cube or something like that and bringing it back in, or it's pretty wild.
Definitely.
So yeah, I would love to have that. I think tactical haptics is great. It has lots of impact, but you have to have your hands closed around the controller. But even so, I think it's still cool.
Are they still reliant on the stem though for their package?
No, they've changed that all up. Their new controller is much slimmer. Actually, I'll be posting in my GDC wrap up some pictures I took. It's much slimmer. Like that front guard is totally gone. It's just like the handle, and then you can slip something into the bottom. So it could be a Hydra, a stem, or whatever you want to attach to it.
Your choose your poison, pretty much.
Choose your poison, yeah. Whatever you want to slip in there, go ahead, do it. But they're not forcing it. They're not tied into really, you know, any particular standard. So
my ideal solution would be if just Oculus could just package their own system with haptic feedback at a budget price with the Oculus in the years to come.
Yeah,
that would definitely drive up adoption, I think, for many consumers.
I would love it. I would love to see that. If they can lower the price now, if they can do like say $300 for a complete package, the Rift and a controller pack in and a game, like Eve Valkyrie pack in, that would be the game of the century.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your comments and thank you for your contribution. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much.
All right. I'll see you later. All right. Excellent. This has been riveting conversation so far. We are going to move on to our next subject, which is talking a little bit about this Colorado VR. So they have a Colorado Oculus Rift / Unity 3D meetup organized by Mark Maines, and these meetups are coming up all over the place. I would like to, you know, feel good about being a part of co-organizing and starting Silicon Valley Virtual Reality Meetup, one of the first, or if not the first, meetup, very popular. And we have San Francisco. There's Reverend Kyle's got something going over there in Cincinnati. It's just all over the place. I am just loving it. Talk to these guys. They're very fun. Talk to them all about GDC, and yeah, I'm just loving this sense of community, man. So tell me about how you're meeting up with people, man. How are you sharing information? Are you finding other people that are interested in developing VR in your area? What's going on? You know, what is the chat talking about? Chat is I've not paid attention to the chat for a little while. Anybody in Colorado, go and check it out. Sacramento meetup. Boy, Alicious, I'm sorry. I'm not going to Sacramento. I was there long ago. I hate it. No. It's too hot. I have dreads, man. It's too hot there. One time I almost rollerbladed into a pool. Excellent. Nico Kuhn. Nice. VR meetup demo at the local library. I've been thinking of the same thing, dude. I've been thinking of taking, you know, once I get a DK2, going to libraries, going to art festivals, going to maker fairs, going to community centers, and just be like, hey, let's just talk about VR. Just give general information sessions to people and give demos, and have it and check the stuff out. Matt Stomps, check that guy out. He's in Sacramento. He's awesome. He's doing the Stomp stuff. Sacramento is very, very hot. Oh my gosh, I sweat so much. Excellent. Someone says they love my format. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm trying, the Hitbox chat just keeps refreshing to the bottom. Let me see, I'm like, I'm trying to read. I'm trying to go back and read. There we go. Look it up. SAO interface. I'm all about the SAO interface. You know it. You know it. Ah, that's Abrams said he loves the format. Excellent. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Excellent. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Excellent. Yeah, so if anyone wants to call in, talk about how they connect with their community, their VR community. Is it only online for you? Is there anyone that's in your area that's going to start a meetup, get in a community center and library? Oh, we have a caller. Thank you for calling TalkVR. I believe I know this man. He's calling back again. Or what happened? Oh no, Micah, where'd you go? He was calling and then now he's not calling. Oh, there he is. Micah, you're back.
Oh my gosh.
Yes!
What am I doing back here?
What's happening?
Hey.
So,
So-
what do you want to talk about, man? Tell me something.
Well, you're talking about, getting people together in VR.
Yes.
Getting the word out there, getting everything together. I was just thinking, schools. I mean, there's mass college, high school, middle school, elementary, get in the schools. If you can be, just like a presentation for any one of those areas, then that could get the point across. And Facebook and Oculus coming together, it's just going to be huge. So it's all going to come across sooner or later. So I mean, once that happens, it's pretty much null and void. But
Absolutely.
that's just my
Absolutely
thought.
agree, man. I think schools like high schools and middle schools, they're dying for people to come in and show them cool technology like that. They're trying to get all these coding, game programming, 3D modeling, graphic design, any technology course to get off the ground. And
that's the thing, like Lucky, he always talks about education. I mean, you got there's so much potential with VR and education that that's just a whole nother realm, basically. Once you get into that, I don't know.
yeah,
It's gonna be
I
huge,
think that's
so.
humongous. That's humongous. I mean, you can
In many ways.
Yeah, it's just the possibilities are endless. I mean, imagine teaching a physics lesson where everyone is in a virtual space and you can have a model of a roller coaster in front of everyone that they can toy around with, play around with the forces. I mean, that's
Exactly.
so engaging.
Yeah, teach physics and then teach physics in VR with a roller coaster. Who's going to learn more?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, read about the history lesson and in the book, or be on the battlefield as Battle of the Bulge happens. Like what are you gonna do? So it's
I was never into history, so if I could go into historical events, then that would be amazing.
that would be really cool. I would love
Like
that
with
too.
UE4, with the morphing thing. I mean, probably other engines have morphing, but I was just thinking, like, if you could morph into different centuries and whatever, that would be amazing.
That would be so sick.
Just
Oh my
morph right
God.
into it. Everyone
like-
changes into this. Freaking awesome.
That would be so sweet. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, I'll let other callers go.
No problem, Mike. Thanks for your contribution, man. Appreciate it. Awesome.
Yeah, this is freaking awesome. This is amazing.
Thank you, man. I'm
Great
having a
idea.
blast. This is a lot of fun.
We all are.
Thank you. Thank
Later.
you. All right, later. Oh, yes. So that's what we got going on, man. It is just all over the place. We've just got so many possibilities. And schools, libraries, community centers. Once you get your DK2, even if you have your DK1, man, it's a cool thing to show off. Hey, find some people, meet up with some folks, man. Start some meetups of your own, even if it's just 3 or 4 people. Make a homebrew computer club can be everywhere. Let's band together, share some resources, and really make VR great, man. That'd be awesome. Spread the word. That's my official stance on that. Oh, very good. I love this effect right here. Whoa, like it just looks so wrong. Like, look, I'm just amusing myself way too much here. Anyway, hilarious, just having a nostalgia trip with the Space Ghost set, and this is hilarious and fantastic. All right, we are moving on to our next topic of discussion. Let's move on to this. Here we go. I hope you're ready. Here it is. How many people have seen this ridiculousness here? Xbox co-founder is skeptical about virtual reality, and me too. This is in Time. These are kind of articles that come out of Time. This is a great way to get a bead on outside of our community, and what is the regular person seeing this as? What is the regular person thinking about this, right? I love how, you know, I read this entire article, and by the end, the guy is saying, I put my $50 on a DK2, but I don't think he's tried a DK1 or a DK2. Like, he mentions trying, like, this is always the argument that people come up with. They always talk about the stuff they tried back in like 1996 or 1998. And I was like, dude, that is now 16 years ago. like there were no accelerometers and gyros and magnetometers that are cheap and size. It's before the smartphone revolution. Even if you tried something in 2002, it's going to be totally different. But I digress. I think the really good point that's made here in this article is by Ed Freeze, who's the co-founder of Xbox. And this is what he says. You know, hardcore gamers love new technologies and experiences that are willing to do almost anything to get them to a good market. You know, that's going to be a good market for Oculus. Well, I agree. He's the general users, different crowd. Little success that consumer electronics companies have had with 3D TVs and glasses. Skeptical that general users are going to be strapping this thing onto their face anytime soon. Okay, so this is his, like, slam dunk right here. This is what he's saying, like, hey, look, the regular person is not going to want to put this thing on their face. It's not a neural interface. It's not the glasses that make it like you don't even know where you are anymore. It's this crude ski mask that you put on, and no one's going to want to put that on except hardcore gamers. I don't know, there might be a little bit of merit to that argument. But I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of us have given demos, have seen the totally uninitiated and marginally interested person totally be like, whoa, mind blown. That's really very cool, right? So this is, I don't know, like I was hoping for some more solid counterpoints, because I'm always looking for something that's going to deflate my enthusiasm, bring me down to earth, and get realistic, right? And give me kind of a viewpoint of the normal person. But, you know, first of all, this guy looks like he has not tried a Rift. He does not mention trying a Rift at all. He says he's ordered a DK2, but he's just going off of the hype that everyone else is talking about. So he's talking as an outsider that hasn't even tried the technology yet, and basing his opinion on technology that's ancient by by these standards, right? And really making assumptions based on 3D TVs, which really, I mean, you know, I don't know. 3D TVs have so many problems and so many issues, and we're not very comfortable. I've went down and got a 3D TV with my roommates. We split it. We got one off of Craigslist, a nice one, Sony. It was great, and we did some stuff. I played some 3D video games for PlayStation 3. That's actually how I found MTBS in the first place, before all this stuff happened. And I watched a few 3D movies, but after that we put it away and didn't really use it all that much. It was a novelty, because it wasn't very immersive. It was a pain to put the glasses over my glasses that already exist. And I don't know. I mean, and the movie stuff. It wasn't really. It was all cheap effects. You know, stuff popping out at you like, oh, you know. And it was like, well, you know, that gets, you know, the gimmick only lasts for so long before you're like, you know, not really that concerned with that, right? So, yeah, you know, yeah, that's a good point, Rand, dude. That's you know, 3D TVs pushed by corporations. No one was asking for it. That's a great point too. All the corporations were like, "This is what consumers want," and consumers were like, "Not really. That's not what we want at all. It's cool, but that's what we want." As opposed to VR, which was something that was kickstarted. You know, this is crowdfunded. This is people that are like, "Yes, I want virtual reality." Very good. Let's look at the chat. This is some great stuff here. Absolutely. Oh yes. Oh yes. Da 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 da. Uh-huh. One of the best talk shows ever. Thank you. Put up a new poll. Awesome. 3Ds were a lot more investment from the Grey 2. Oculus kiosks. Oh, I'm all about that. Uh-oh. Philly's calling once again. He has some words to say. Give it to me.
Yeah, man. You know, I had to chip in my 2 cents on this whole 3D TV and VR thing, man, because you know, just like you said, man, 3D TV, like, you know, we go to the IMAX and we see a nice 3D movie, and that's cool, you know. But are we really wowed by the 3D effect? No, we really just like the movie. You know, 3D was never really something that really grabbed people. But, you know, I've been working with the lowest common denominator over here, you know. When I have get-togethers in my house or little house parties and things like that, after everybody's all had their fun, they're all drunk and tired, we come inside the room and we try VR on the Rift, man. And I've showed it to girls who, you know, don't game. You know, they're just not even a part of that life whatsoever. They put that thing on and they're like, oh my God. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a life-changing experience. They're like, is this real? Like, they're like, where do you get this? Like, how do you get this? Like, they're so excited about it. But the only thing I would say about VR is that it is a mainstream product. It definitely is. Like, anybody can see the potential for it. But it's not, the entry level is currently too high. That's the only problem. You know, I have it because I'm a web developer and I already have a super souped up computer and I'm already interested in tech stuff. So it's easy for me to get into it because I already know what to do to, you know, get myself ready.
Exactly.
But let's say the average consumer, you know, some girl who likes the experience over at my house, how's she going to start doing an Oculus Rift VR? It's just not going to happen. Like, there's no way. Not her daily life either, you know?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Absolutely.
And I would say VR won't be mainstream for CB1, but I believe for CB2, they have an excellent opportunity. All they have to do to make that thing mainstream is 2 things, man. Just simply make it smaller, you know, slimmer, more like sunglasses. Not sunglasses in general, but just a little bit closer, just a little bit more smaller. Build Android directly into it. When you take away the PC equation out of that situation, and you have a nice Tegra next-gen card inside that Android device on the Rift, and that thing could run 1080p games pretty smoothly in VR, that's it, man. You know, you make yourself one VR chat program on that thing, and the girls will be all over it, man. They'll build themselves a nice, pretty avatar, man. They'll jump in there every chance they get to talk to their friends. It's going to be crazy.
Oh,
that's
man.
all you need is a nice social program. Make it cheap, make it no PC, and you're good to go.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Oh man, yeah, I think so. And I think that thank you for that, Philly. Appreciate it. You know, and I think that's one of the major reasons why Oculus is thinking about going that Android route. You know, they can have all-in-one dealie. It's the Rift. It has maybe a motion control with it, but everything is built into the unit. You don't connect it to a computer. You don't connect it to anything. $200 and you have your VR item. And it already connects to online. It already does whatever you need. You put it on, and bam, you know. And that's at the point of you know, mass adoption. I think it is going to be gamers that are going to drive CV1. I think gaming is going to have to be the start of it. But where it goes is, you know, finding that level that's going to be comfortable, where, you know, a person can pay one price, get everything that they need, and totally jump on. I think that's going to be wild. That is going to be very wild. Yes. All right. I'm updating this poll. What's going to be the biggest hurdle to VR going mainstream? Will it be cost? Will it be comfort? Will it be design? It'll be so cool. Will it be software? Just lack of software? Or what else? What else is going to be a hurdle to VR going mainstream? Let's see. Let me put something in there. Yeah, Philly, I totally agree, man. Need an actual PC. Ease of use. I think it's gonna be another one. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna boom. And the poll has begun. Have at it, people. There we go. All right, excellent. So yeah, what do you think? Put in your 2 cents there. What's going to be the thing that's going to be the biggest hurdle that keeps VR from going mainstream? Is it just, it's going to cost too much? You're going to have a person that's excited, just like Philly says. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is blowing my mind. What do I do to get this? I have to get a computer that's $1,000 and then a headset that's $250. And then maybe a motion controller or a controller too. That's crazy. That's the low end. That's gonna drive people away. Even if you have, say, a Steam machine with a Rift packed in, like what? I don't know, man. Like what is that? What's gonna happen there, right? Oh, Micah, give me some more.
I don't know.
What's happening, man?
I can't give you some more. Okay. Hey, what's up?
Here we go.
All right, so as far as that whole poll, I think the whole mainstream idea of it is going to be they don't know what it is. They have no idea what virtual reality is. I mean, they've heard of it maybe, but they have not experienced it. The whole experience is going to be the main thing. So if you can get the VR out there, which I sure hope they do. I sure hope that, they have all this money. They have so much they can do with it. They put these, put them in, the shopping centers and everywhere. I mean, people have to experience it to actually know what the hell it is, That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I think that's a great point, Mike. That's a great point. I think people don't even know, when you say virtual reality, they really don't even know what you're talking about, really. Like,
another game, virtual reality.
Yeah. Are they thinking about a movie that came out in the 90s? Are they thinking about The Matrix? A lot of people are too young to remember the virtuality or any of the VR stuff that came out in the 90s. Like, what do they even, like,
a lot of people know what it is, but it's just a matter of experiencing what we have right now. It's if they can actually experience that, they can realize the potential and realize what everyone needs to do to get this going.
Totally.
Buy one.
Absolutely. Buy one. Buy one now. All right. Thank you, Mike. Definitely. Totally agree. Excellent. Let's see. Oh, we got another one. Here we go. What's up? You're on, Charles A.
Oh, yeah, okay, Nick Marine again. you got to say names because I know I'm like on.
I know. I've got so many people.
All right, actually, I think what you didn't have here, and remember what John Carmack was supposedly working on, is the ability to connect the Rift, the CV1, into smartphone, if not actually have smartphone as a part of the Rift itself.
Exactly.
And so portability is going to be very huge. And the reason why I want to bring that up is, like, think about it. Think of what a smartphone is. Let's say if you said 15 years ago, like 90% of the country would have computers, but really a smartphone is the computer they have. They don't see themselves as geeks or anything. They just think of it as a phone, but they don't realize, like, that is a full computer. So you put that full computer into a Rift, which is what they want to do, maybe have the other things, the lenses or goggles or whatnot, so you can have, or cameras, so you can actually have sort of an AR where you can actually can move around while wearing them. That will be the thing that will encourage adoption. I don't think it will prevent adoption. As Carmack says, VR creates lovers bond contact. But if you but once they get it to where it's portable, and it's as if it's a smartphone in itself, even if the quality is lower than a PC, it's going to become, instead of maybe a 30% market share, it boosts up to 80 to 90%. Maybe not even the Rift itself. It could be all these other companies, Sony, Microsoft, God knows who else is Android. So Google would be getting involved. And again, that's what we'll be seeing in 15 years from now.
Yeah, totally. I think that's a great point. I mean,
but early on, it's content. Let's be honest, it's content. That's the only reason they're putting out the DK1, DK2. So when you log in, perfect example. May I give you a perfect example?
Yeah, go.
Is, when you think about Firebox, that little program that James McRae's making.
Yeah.
The first time you go in there, it's only stuff he has. Once they open it up for now, it's there's 100 different rooms. Most of it's empty rooms, but you got about 10 of them that's actual good quality. And 6 months from now will be even more. And that's what they did with the DK1. Throw it out there, see what people can get together. When it is being sold, people don't have an empty room to go to. They have the entire universe is at their footsteps. So yeah, content is the big pusher here early on. Later on, it's smartphone integration.
All right. I like that. Thank you for calling in, Charles. Appreciate it. Yes, I like that. I think if your content is good enough, if you have your killer app, if you have something that's really, really good, people will pay. People will wear something dumb. People will make sure they get it, just because it's too good. I think back of when Halo sold Xboxes. People had 4-player Halo parties, and that game sold Xbox, just like GoldenEye sold N64s. Excellent. Dubsy, we're back. What's happening? Thanks for calling in once again. What do you got to say on this, man?
Yo. I just feel like I'm going to be rehashing kind of what people have said so far. But I feel like I should give my 2 cents at least. So,
definitely.
My whole thing is the current trend in technology is wearables and all that. In my opinion, it seems like the Rift should fit right in with this current trend. I don't understand why everybody's talking about wearable electronics, the smartwatches, the Google Glasses, and then they turn around and they try to discount the Rift somehow. Especially with Oculus's future plans for mobile support, CV2 era kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That definitely should lead towards integration in some way. But there's an interesting article also on, I think it was the Los Angeles Times. It was titled, "Beware the Oculus Rift. If you think Facebook is bad, just wait." That's kind of interesting to me, the public resistance. Because it's all about, especially for the current poll, I think cool should be a factor here. It's like cost versus cool factor. Because, people buy Apple computers a lot because they're beautifully designed, really cool. Cost might not be there, but public opinion on them is that, they're amazing and you need to buy them. Even if you could buy something else, it doesn't matter. Design and cool factor in. The Oculus really needs to get, and other virtual reality headsets for that matter, really need to get that public, this is amazing, this is cool, we need this.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I think if people try it, definitely helps.
Yeah, I'm all about the Oculus bus, man. We get a giant bus. It just has Oculus Rift experiences built into it, and we just ride it around the country and give demos.
It started with the grassroots enthusiasts, and then Sony and Facebook get involved, and the next step is just everybody to get one. Yeah,
it's everyone just get in there. That's what I'm talking about. I'm all about that. I could feel that. That's what I'm talking about.
Because anybody who tries a Rift, in my opinion, just gets blown away, and all the skepticism is from people who aren't sure and are just remembering the pain from the 90s.
I totally agree. Look into any comment section in any article that's in a major news source, and that's what everyone always does. They bring up their VR experience from 15 to 20 years ago. And
yeah,
it's
exactly.
Yeah,
it didn't like it now. I must not like it,
Yeah, it really is crazy. It's as if computers. I tried a computer back in 1974. It was pretty bad. It's like, dude, what are you even talking about right now?
It's not even in the same vein.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Can't compare the two.
Exactly. It's like, oh yeah, I tried that whole automobile thing back in 1930. It didn't really. I'm not feeling it now. You know, it's like, come on, man.
It reminds me that you interviewed somebody actually when you were trying out the DevKit 2s, the 12 reactions to DevKit 2.
Yeah.
The guy who said he didn't really know if he was gonna like the Rift, and then he just, you know, after he tried it, he was blown away and he ordered one.
Yeah. That's what happens, man. People just immediately like it. It's like it said before, man. It's instant conversion. Like, you know, especially for people that are already in that demographic. They have their powered computer. They're ready. They're enthusiasts and gamers, and they're like, hey, I mean, it's an instant, you know, instant convert. You know, so
even back before I even tried the Rift, I was sold as soon as I built what I like to call the Oculus Thrift, which is when you use a phone and you put two lenses in front of it and you just look around in a demo. And that just sold it for me. Like, even that little.
Yeah.
Can see the potential.
Absolutely. It's just, you know, just the bare bones of the setup of the tech actually is super compelling. It's the Oculus Thrift. I love that. That's what I'm talking about. Nice.
Do you think Oculus should set up storefronts then for people to check it out before they buy?
I think they have to. I think especially if they want cynical gamers to sign up, I think they have to, man. I wouldn't mind seeing an Oculus Rift in every, you know, Target, GameStop, whatever. But I think that's a challenge within itself, because VR is one of those things where it's much better to have a guided experience. It's much better to have someone next to you kind of explaining things and having also an experience that's really good, that like basically the player can't screw themselves over. I guess, you know, like, so it's like something where there's not input, or something that's very, very simple. I had an idea of actually making a piece of software that was just going to be like the, you know, the Rift retail experience, and it was going to be like you put it on, it like senses when it's actually on. There's a little like Japanese anime character like, welcome to the Oculus Rift or something, you know.
But then it immediately makes you fall off a building and go sit on the floor and you throw up all over the place.
Exactly, and it's like that's gonna sell units. You know, it's
make
like,
sure people don't get their VR legs and just let them go.
It's like, yes. Now that you put it on, we're going to put you in the first part of Estranged Act 1. We're gonna
Here, play the Scout in TF2. Go ahead, run around.
Go! Exactly, you know, it's like, yeah, so having a guided experience. So I think having, like, you know, like what Nintendo Wii does, like when they have like those features in the mall on weekends when it's like staffed sections, or like Xbox did when they had like an Xbox bus that went on tour to all the colleges and sporting events. I think Oculus does something like that, and I think if they have demos in standalone kiosks in retail, then the software and just the overall whatever the interface is has to be pretty impressive. I think pretty robust.
I don't want to monopolize your time, but
no, go for it, man.
Do you have any opinions on Aaron Nicholas joining the Oculus team?
Aaron Nicholas.
They're stealing all of Valve's workers and just giving them over to Oculus. They're all leaving. He's the third one now. Yeah,
it's fascinating. I don't know if it's like stealing from Valve, or if it's just like reassembling id in another place.
I guess so.
It's like, you know what, we're gonna take this back to Quake days, and we're gonna get this original team.
Now they have. I mean, I guess they talked about their partnership before. They were planning on partnering. Wait, no, that was the strategic. Never mind. But they have been working with Valve a lot, you know. And all these VR people have come out of Valve, especially, you know, Cast AR guys. Now we have 3 people at Oculus working on technology. All of them high up chief scientists.
Yeah, so, absolutely. And I mean, I don't know if it might be a result as well. I mean, of just Valve has just attracted just really brilliant people. It's been the place where brilliant people go in the gaming industry for a long while, and it's also been kind of the spearhead of innovation within the gaming space as well. I mean, all these hard problems, establishing basically a digital economy out of nothing that is now Steam.
Just like people are talking about Oculus isn't going to take off, people said that Steam wasn't going to take off back when they started their digital distribution platform.
Oh yeah, I was pissed at Steam when I first got Half-Life 2. I was like, what is this? I want to play Half-Life 2. This has to be online. Like, this is BS, dude. Like, I was
DRM, what the hell?
like, I was flipping tables, man. I was like, I gotta make an account for this crap. This is ridiculous. But I mean, you know, after a couple years, I mean, definitely bitched and moaned, but they had to start. You have to start somewhere. There has to be these intermediate steps in between, having this very important idea and having it be like super clean, efficient, awesome, and easy to use and effective, and achieving its goal. I think it's same thing with VR controllers. You have to start somewhere. I mean, everyone wants the glove, but it's like, you have to have this intermediate step, man. You have to have something that's going to fill the gap, I think. And, yeah, totally.
Well, I'll let you move on to the next caller, but you might see me again later tonight.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for calling in, Dub.
Talk to you later.
Oh, yeah. Talk to you later. This has been one hell of a show. This has been lots of fun to do. It was so fun putting together the Space Ghost Coast to Coast set, and I'm like behind a desk amusing myself by going, oh, I'm a head above a desk, which is ridiculous. Then I got my TV over here. This has been a lot of fun. This is just crazy. We are talking about this and that and all over the place. Oh, Doc Ock is here. What's up? The Kralos is in the house. Dude, man, I still have all of the videos from when we visited, and it's been, I've been sitting on these videos way too long. I promise you, I'm going to have those out. You've been here the entire time? That's awesome. Oh man, excellent. Definitely enjoyed your input in that controller discussion, man. It was really, really cool. Really great points. I've been listening to people and like trying to split my attention between that and the chat, and I've been like, So I've missed a lot of the chat, but hopefully, you guys are having a good time chatting amongst yourselves. There we go. Oh, yes. Bruce Headroom. Oculus, ripped. Ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Articulate, you are late, but that's okay, brother. Welcome. This is awesome, dude. So, very good. This is really wild. Oculus Rift, man, the VR platform is imminent. It is just coming, and I am so excited. I am so broke because I have every peripheral on the way to my house, but that's okay. Mike, tell me something good.
Alright, looks like there's a lull here.
That's okay. That's okay. Fill it in.
We need some content. We need people to post some demos. We need a bunch of demos to experience. There's been a huge lull. Where's all the demos?
Where's all the demos? Everyone's building things in UE4. I could tell you, dude, if I didn't have like, a billion things to do, I'm what I'm doing right now? So at summer camp, I've started 3D video game design is going to be a course at summer camp. I decided this like months ago, right? And the plan was to use Unity, but the Unity licensing people never got back to me. And then, I've been like, crap, what are we going to use? I still need a teacher for this, by the way. If any of you are in the San Jose area, South Bay area, we need a Minecraft guy. We need a 3D video game design guy. We need a computer programming guy and a circuits guy. Or girl. If you're in the area, let me know. But anyway,
nice.
So Unreal came with this deal. And so this is what I did. I was like, holy crap. I looked up their education information, and they're like, free to use. $20, you can install it as many computers as you want if you're an education facility.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that.
It's like so crazy.
That's
so
huge.
Kids are going to be using
they know
UE4.
the potential too.
Yeah, so it's wild. So I have to learn UE4 because I'm going to be writing the curriculum for that course. So I'm just going to be... I'm probably going to have a VR demo just because I'll be learning the program out of necessity for work, trying to combine jobs here. But yeah, I'm totally excited, dude, and I agree. We need more demos. People need to put some more stuff out. finish your UE4. Just put out something for UE4.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of demos out there, and there's, you know, a few sites that have the conglomerated demos, and, you know, you play your demos every Sunday, but I think there should just be this massive helm of everyone throw in just what you're doing this day or this week or something.
Dude, what we need is another jam.
Experience.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I think we need a VR jam too. I think
especially
that needs
with
to happen.
UE4 hitting. I would imagine that, you know, a jam with UE4 could just be insane.
Maybe I should just do that. Maybe it should just be the Cymatic Bruce UE4 game jam.
You should call it.
I should just call it, dude. I have no idea what I'd use as a prize. Like,
DK1.
I have a leap motion and a Dorovis dive. oh, look at this, guys. I have the very special Cymatic Bruce custom.
I bet if you did it, people would throw in. You never know.
You never know, man. This is like, you know, look at this. Oh, look at, technology. Oh my god. But
I think, you know, just a matter of content. You know, it's like lately there's been so much coming at us. It's just huge, and having, you know, this swarm of content would just be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was a very exciting time when the first VR Jam hit, and it was just like hundreds of demos. I mean, I think developers need that. They need like a deadline. You know, we need something like a little goal to strive for, to just like, hey, let me just take these couple weeks and bang something out. I've been thinking about this, tossing around in my head for, you know, so many weeks or months or whatever. Let me get that out. You know, I think that would be good. I would love to see it.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully something gets going.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I might have to look into that. See what's possible there.
You're the man. You can make it happen for sure.
Yes, I'm trying to use my responsibility for my powers for good. So we'll see.
That would definitely be good. People would love that.
Excellent. Well, thank you. That's a great idea genesis there. Excellent.
Came up with it.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Way to go. All right. Have a good one.
Peace out.
Thanks. Oh yes. Oh my. Yes. All right. So yeah, maybe I have to look into starting a VR jam. I wonder if we can use Kickstarter to fund a game jam. Is that legal? Is that against the Kickstarter rules? Excellent. Yes. Teach summer camp. You know this. When everyone around you is making games, you want to make your own. Totally true. I had some kids that, before I ran the entire camp, I was a video game design instructor. And I have some kids that were just at camp because mom said you have to go to camp. And they weren't really about it, but it's contagious, man. When you have a group of your peers and they're all together and making games and they're laughing about the ideas going back and forth, it's hard to not participate. It's hard to just sit back and watch YouTube videos. You want to get in that, right? Oh, we have a new caller. Hello, thank you for calling the Cymatic Bruce Talk VR show.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Good. I'm good. I think I might be. I don't know. I might be representing a slightly older gaming community or whatever. I've been a gamer for like 21 years.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you mentioned that, you know, people who tried VR way back in the day. I actually tried it in the mid 90s. It was incredible. It's still to this day burned into my memory. I can describe it like I was in there yesterday. Now I haven't tried the Rift. I'm so excited for it because over the last few years, I don't know how many people I described that experience to, and I just can't describe how excited I am for VR, and I've been waiting for it for years and years.
Awesome. That is awesome, man. I'm glad to hear it. And I might not look it, but I was also a gamer 21 years ago, and I also did try virtual reality for the first time in the mid 90s on a virtual reality set. It was not a Dactyl Nightmare. It was the tank game, which I forgot the name of. But it was really cool. It was a San Francisco Pier 39 or 31, whatever, the wharf. And they had like, you had to pay like $5 or something like that for like 5 minutes. But yeah, I thought it was so cool. You know, it was like the graphics were simple. It was a little bit laggy or whatever, but I thought, man, that is a cool experience, man. I can't wait for that to get better. I was thinking, you know, by the time I'm out of my teens, this is gonna be so crazy, and then it never really happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, man, you're in for a treat. Like, if you thought that was cool, the Rift is going to blow you away. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to blow you away, man. It's like you have moments in the Rift, and I think a lot of people can testify to this kind of thing. But you know, at first, when you first try it, you're like, oh man, this is amazing. And then when you have it for a little while, you'll have those moments when you'll have a reaction as if you're there in real life. Like, you know, you'll look and turn and see something too close, and you'll jump back. Or one of the things that got me when I was working in UDK, and I was like, you know, in the Rift and looking around the environment and this skeletal mesh I had, and I got too close to the skeletal mesh, and I got uncomfortable, and I backed up my character and said sorry. Like, and it's like, why did I say sorry? Who am I talking to? But yeah, it's definitely the level of immersion. Definitely prepare for it, man. It'll be incredible. I think you'll love it. Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna have to cut you off. I gotta go feed the baby. She's up. I'll give a call back a little later though. Thanks for having me.
Man. Excellent. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it, Chris.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers. Excellent. So we have, you know, a lot of people that remember VR from a long time ago. And you know, I am in that crowd. I really loved it, you know. And I used to go to these things called the virtual worlds, where it's like the battle tech, or like the kind of the mech warrior, and you sit in a little pod, and it wasn't VR, but it was like the pod, and all the switches worked, and the screen was huge. So the closest thing you can get to VR at that time period, right? So very cool. Let me change the poll. People are like, new poll. I was like, okay. Excellent. So far, it looks like ease of use is the #1 answer. Biggest hurdle to prevent VR going mainstream. Second is cost. So I think cost and ease of use. UI, I think, is going to be a big one, man. I think you have to put on those goggles, double-click something, and be on your way. I think that's a very important point. It's something that needs to happen for sure. Let's see. What was your first VR experience? Is the next poll. The virtuality arcade system? Was it the VFX 1? Which is a classic headset, very awesome. Was it the Rift DK1? Was it super like a Vuzix or other super expensive HMD or other? Virtual Boy does not count. And let's start the poll. Excellent. Very good. So we have got a new poll up. Tell me, what was your first VR experience? Yes, Micah is calling in. Thank you for calling in, sir. Looks like people are just not calling in.
What's up?
What's happening, man?
All right, so I was just thinking about the whole VR experience. You know, everyone wants to be in this area with each other, a whole conglomerative of all these avatars and everything, the Oasis, whatever you want to call it. When do you think that's going to happen?
Wow, I think that's going to happen sooner. I think it's going to happen sooner than we think, and I think this is the reason why. That when we're talking about, you know, everyone talks about, oh, you know, that we have all these niche people that are going to have motion controls and yada yada yada. I think that's where it's going to form. I think it's going to be this niche of people, and I think there's at some point there's going to be a magic combination of items that is going to give you something that's super close without like interfacing with your brain. I think there's going to be a combination of items that's going to catch on. Yeah. So I'm thinking.
I mean, it's like, you know, we have the visual, we have the audio, we have the people, but there's tons more people that are going to be introduced to this. I mean, it's once Oculus and Facebook release this, I think it's going to just be massive. There's going to be so much more people than we even thought there could be. So, you know, with a Oasis type deal in the future, you know, it could be sooner than we thought. And that type of thing, I mean, don't you think that could bring on, you know, not just having these group get-togethers or whatever, but an actual ecosystem? I mean, it could, like I was on the Reddit, and one of the CSRs posted something, and I was like, so, you know, could you hook me up with a job?
Yeah.
A customer service representative. He's like, yeah, I don't know what he said, but anyway, you know, it'd be badass if they freaking made this Oasis. They made this all happen within a couple of years. It would just be amazing. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Getting out of this real world would be awesome. Not that I hate it, but you know, I think people want it real bad.
I think that's something that cannot be underestimated. You know, I think if you know, it's going to be widespread. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to love this. They're going to want to be a part of this experience. And I think if someone makes some compelling software that says uses the CV1, the Prio VR suit, and you know, some controller, for example, and that's enough to put your whole body in a situation and feel like you're really there somewhere, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think, I mean, it's just like with WoW. I mean, WoW was, you know, it was cool, it was a solid concept, but it just started pulling in all of these people from all of these walks of life that you wouldn't expect to be gamers. And next thing you know, you have these people spending thousands of dollars on rigs and characters, all kinds of stuff for a WoW character, you know, essentially for WoW, you know. And I think it has the potential to be that same type of thing.
That's pay to play, which it kind of sucks monthly and whatever, but you know, it makes sense because to have that, you know, special experience, people are going to want to do that, you know. I mean, I don't see a problem with that necessarily, but it sucks to have to pay per month to do whatever. But if it's something, I got a couple of people.
Oh yeah, we're queuing them up. Keep talking.
All right, so you know, I'm just thinking, if you have this just amazing experience, obviously people are going to pay for it, but you know, why make them pay so much for it? Just be cool about it. You know, there's going to be millions of people that are going to want to do this. Make it an ecosystem where it can just thrive and not just tank because Facebook wants to do some freaking sorry, I had to throw that in there. You never know.
We gotta put that out there. You know, it's like, hey, come on, Facebook, don't screw it up, man. Just let it happen. Let it happen.
I was just thinking about the whole, you know, the Oasis experience. I mean, it's probably a couple of years within reach, I would imagine. Because you gotta have all that, you know, you have to have your physical body and your expressions and everything in there. But it's just gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that Oasis or that SAO type experience, where it's really going to be convincingly like, you know, you're one-to-one with your body, facial expressions, you know, being able to sufficiently, you know, feel that sense of real presence being somewhere else, and also that non-verbal and verbal communication with other people. Yeah, definitely.
Let's can I bring up one more thing?
Do it.
Okay, so there's a lot of people that have a lot of let's say mental issues. So I think that VR is going to be a huge thing because you can get into this, you know, realm with other people and not have to have them see you physically or see your expressions physically, or, you know, whatever. So it's just, you got your voice, and it can, you know, it could be someone else's voice or whatever. So I think that this could be a huge leap forward for even that realm, you know. It's like people have these mental issues, and this could be a huge help for them. So there's just a lot of different.
Absolutely, I think there's a lot of potential. For like therapy-wise, for example, I went to the Stanford VHIL Virtual Human Interface Lab, and they were talking about how virtual reality or VR experiences even can be used to influence people for therapy. They were talking about kids that have social disorders or social issues, if they're able to experience certain situations in VR in a safe space, it's actually more effective than any other therapy they've done.
Because it's so real.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it could be, whatever you want to be, and it could be totally a controlled environment, and it's good. And I think on the other side of the coin, when we say mental issues as well, I think there's some people that, I think will, and this is kind of dangerous, I think, but I think there's some people that are going to withdraw into a virtual world once we have that SAO or that Oasis experience. People that are going to why go back to real life at all? That type of issue is the one I was thinking about, where people are just like, I'm just going to withdraw from society. And
I think that would be a good issue, because it's the people that are going to go into that and draw into that and then come back out of that into real society and do some shit. That would be bad.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome, dude. It's like he was a recluse. He was a total introvert. He antisocial. Talked to no one. Then came VR chat. It's like, and it's just, it saved this guy's life. He's like, hey, if I can be confident and talk to people in VR, then I could do it in real life. That could be real powerful, man.
I was just thinking along the lines of people that are gonna take it to the extreme. That's why I was saying they can get into this oasis and then they can get out of it into real life and cause harm, because they can do whatever they want in this oasis, right? So
exactly.
There's gonna be that whole there's gonna be people doing this or that, but it's all it's just a made up thing. It's not real.
Yeah.
But it takes whoever to realize that it's not real or it's real. So I don't know.
Truly.
It's just everyday life, and it's coming so far along. It's awesome.
It's so awesome. I'm so excited for the future, man. It'll be so sweet. All right, Mike, thank you very much. We have Charles A. that is waiting patiently. So thank you very much,
well,
my
I didn't
friend.
want to chime in while y'all were talking.
All right.
Hey, Charles.
You know how 3-ways, they get a little messy.
Oh, watch out. Here we go.
All right. Actually, what I was trying to bring up a point, because we were having a discussion, because I had mentioned something like for the 90s, it was like for VR would have been like Wolfenstein or Doom, and someone was chiming that doesn't really count as VR. And then I was starting to think about the 80s, which you had the Star Wars vector graphics, which was you were doing the trench run and you were fighting Darth Vader, and it was just amazing because you were in the cabinet. I remember that as a kid. And then I started thinking further, like, hey, what is counting as VR? Because now it's always, seeing the moon behind you. Think of Apollo 13, where he actually was in the cabin of the moon lander, and they were using a model of the moon, and the camera was approaching the moon, so he would see what he would see as in space. And that was virtual reality. And any of the rides in at Six Flags, where you're putting into a mobile room, even if it's with a lot of people, and the screen showing as if you're on a roller coaster, even if you're in a room or you're at an earthquake that's happening, like Captain EO. The more you just think about it, but the earliest form of virtual reality we've had is something we've had for millions of years, or hundreds of thousands of years, and that's dreaming. Exactly. I think that's the reason why we connect so well to this type of VR, because this is the closest we get to what we experience when we dream. All the other ones got us kind of there of experiencing reality that isn't there, that's not happening in real life. But now with this VR, that's about the closest the sensation of fear, something I haven't felt except in a dream world.
Yeah. That's another, that's like two separate topics too, because like lucid dreaming, like I got the Rift, and the first week I had these crazy, I'd wake up and it'd be all digital, and then it'd be like, oh, what the hell? And that was like this crazy realm. But then you have, like VR represents your whole dream world. But, VR can be anything you make it, or they make it. Whatever you can make, you can, be in. That's the awesome thing about it.
Yes.
Whatever you want to be, someone makes it, you can be there. You can do whatever you want.
here's what I'm kind of wondering about, because I'm not a gamer, and so usually when I'm discussing on the forums or whatnot, it's about, okay, what do I as a gamer like to gain from virtual reality? So that's the reason why when I'm putting together this stuff, is like, okay, how am I going to convert Wikipedia to something I can experience in virtual reality? You know, and I'm trying experiments like that. Or, okay, here's all these websites people get. How do you want to look at this website in virtual reality? You know, and
yeah, who made that
put together
website?
easily as your grandmother would make a website. Or that's why I want to give demonstrations is to an older crowd. So I'm not going to put them into a video game. I'm going to put them in like a Street Viewer for Google Street Viewer, or
Right, take them
right
to a
there.
whole different place in the world.
Right, because right now I understand gamers. It's not going to be porn. It's going to be gamers that push virtual reality. Because, but in order to get the common, like the people who aren't gamers, there has to be that content that attracts them. It can't just be games.
There's
So
going to be so
they
much
got to keep
content
thinking
now.
about, hey, how can I put this in other areas, not just with games?
You're not even going to be able to show them all the content because there's just going to be so much.
But that's the reason why I always have the correct content. Because again, anyway, you're right. I'm sorry, I got way off topic. What was the topic of this section? I thought you were talking about old Star. Like
The topic
original
is
VR
Bruce's
Meetup.
show is amazing. He needs to keep it going. And we were talking about lucid dreaming for a second. And that was freaking awesome.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this conversation. You just keep going wherever you're going. I'm riding the train wherever it goes.
Yeah, well, I'll let the next caller come up if. I understand. Hey, it's an early talk show, so you're going to be having the same callers all the time.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
about-
exactly.
Wait, how about the Android controllers? You were talking about that earlier, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll mention this is the Android controller is when you got it in your hand. So instead of a flashlight mode, have a video mode. So when you move the controller, you're actually shining the image of what you're recording on the camera, and you can put that anywhere in your environment.
Okay,
So if you surround yourself with the dome, you can actually paint the dome with the images from the camera. So now you're seeing the outside world. You've actually painted the outside world in VR.
But think about this. You got this mobile technology. You can put one on each hand for as cheap as you can build whatever controller out there. Because now, all
That's
that mobile
really
tech is
excessive.
cheap.
That's like
And if
using a car for a.
they elaborate
unicycle.
on
That's-
that, and they
I
make
think
that so advanced that it can actually fit on your hand for this amount of money, they can take a mobile glove, whatever, and have it, communicate with the Rift. Each hand can be a separate device. This will be a computer on this hand, this will be a computer on this hand, this will be a computer on this head, and it can all communicate, and you can have this amazing experience. I think with, mobile technology, I don't see
But
why.
for $1,000, that sounds a little excessive. Well, I'm always looking at it.
not
what is-
$1,000. I just bought a
man,
phone
what is
for
the
my
low-hanging
kids
fruit?
every year for like $50.
Right, but what is
It
the
just
low-hanging
keeps getting
fruit
better.
here? And I think right now it's going to be the camera. When they showed the glove with the colors on it, so you have IR reflective paint on the gloves, so they can detect the hands a lot faster. So I think we can cheaply put hands in the game, and that's not going to cost too much. What I mentioned about the phones is that everybody has one phone at least. I don't see anybody having 3 or 4 phones. And so you can use the tech in the phone because that's what the Rift is, using phone tech. But
Right. Think
but
about
I
this
don't
though.
see it like
If they're going to take your phone that you have and put it
Mhm.
into this tech that they're making, I mean, I talked about this with Nate. I've been wanting to do this idea for like a year or more. Put these mobile devices on your hand and make some gloves and just get it out there. But, you have all these different devices and they have all these different codes that they need and all this different stuff. But if one person, say Oculus, concentrated on it and said, we're going to make this amazing device that can communicate and do all this stuff and make it amazing, it would be something that someone with a lot of money and a lot of technology could advance it, because the content or the hardware is out there. They get it cheap enough, they could advance it far enough, and it could be feasible.
Why not?
And
It doesn't
cheap
even need
enough
to be
get
on the
on
hand,
everyone.
though. That was the odd thing, is that, you're saying you went out on the hand. I kind of understand that, but when you're in VR, again, you don't need to worry about because the screen's anywhere. You don't have to. If you want to interact with the hand, you can, but you can. If it can track your hand, you can have just a wooden board in front of you, so you feel like you're touching something. And if you put the IR sensors on the board, the computer knows where the board's oriented. So when you touch the board, it's as if you're touching a smartphone. So
You don't
instead of
need a
having
board, you have
$50 or $100 equipment, you have a 50-cent plywood, you know. But in VR, it just feels like, hey, it's a smart tablet. Because again, that's the beauty of VR. You can use something. You don't need these expensive interfaces. You just need virtual interfaces that look expensive.
All right, I'm going to interrupt you guys right here because I have some people calling in. This is getting good. All right, excellent. We may have to continue this later, but I want to give Michael just called in. But thank you, both of you. That was awesome. Excellent. Oh, wait a minute. Who was calling in? All right, we have Jason. What's happening? How you doing, man?
Yeah, pretty good. You know, everyone's talking about the Rift. You know, all the infinite possibilities, what you can do, and I want to talk about paranoia. I don't mean like people walking into you in your room using it. I mean the consistent sense in VR that anything can happen. Like, you can't walk into even the theater and not think that there might be something jumping up behind you. It seems to be me anyway. Constant sense of overwhelming, is something going to happen? And I'm wondering if we'll ever get past that, if we'll ever get to the stage where we're not sort of on edge. At least, or is that just me?
Absolutely. No, I don't think it's just you. I think it has to do with a lot of these demos are in empty spaces, like eerily empty, silent spaces. I think it's kind of the same thing when you vacuum by yourself and you're expecting something to happen behind you. But yeah, I have the same thing, especially after playing so many horror titles. Definitely, it's an issue. I have trouble enjoying the experience unless there's some like ambient noise or other characters that are around or things like that make it more comfortable, or if it's multiplayer. But if it's just me in an empty space, I constantly think something's about to come and get me. So yeah, not just you, man, for sure.
Because the developers could do anything. I mean, like, you're just thinking, some guy patches in a DLC into a game, and you're walking down a corridor, you've walked down a couple hundred times, all of a sudden the floor opens up and you drop through it. Like, literally anything can happen.
Absolutely. Very scary stuff. Oh my, I'm gonna move on to the next caller, but thank you for your words, Jason.
Cool.
Appreciate it, man.
No problem.
All right. Thanks for calling. Michael, you've been waiting patiently. What's up, man? Are you there? Michael, did you make it? Michael, I can't hear you, Michael. Michael, please. Going once. Going twice. All right. Sorry, Michael. I did not hear you at all, my friend. All right. Ruben. Hello. Oh, I see a face. Excellent. How are you, sir?
Hello! Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? All right, excellent.
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Oh, yes.
Finally, I get to talk to you.
Yes, absolutely. What do you want to say, man? Tell me something. What are your thoughts right now? What are you talking about?
Okay. I've been watching hundreds of videos on the Oculus Rift, and I'm just really excited to experiment with out of body experiences or things that you can't actually do in real life. The completely mind bending stuff that you can do in games, but you can't actually do in real life.
Yes,
That's the kind of stuff I'm interested in.
I'm very interested in that as well. I'm really about pushing things to the limit. It's like really doing some just crazy off the wall. Like, what I want to see is that, when we have motion controls, or even just when you look at something, I want Jean Grey X-Men powers, man. I want telepathy. I want to be able to look at something and it detects that my hand is in this position and it starts lifting off the ground, dude. Like, that would be so awesome. But yeah, I want something. I do. I want to see some really just like crazy fantasy awesome things just happen. I mean, that really weren't possible. I think not to a certain extent, not to feel that you are in there and you are just that person that's a badass, or that person that has the special powers, or that's solving the crime or whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like I've been trying to get you to play a game called Stalker. I've been trying to get you to play that, haven't I?
Stalker.
Yes. It's kind of a horror game.
It's
but...
kind of a horror game? Kind of a horror game? Don't lie to my face!
It's
kind of a horror game.
With the modifications for it, it's extremely immersive. That's, you know, really, really immersive. Even just on a 20-inch monitor, it just sucks you in there. It's got so much detail in it.
Oh my goodness. I'm trying to avoid having a heart attack on stream. You know, I haven't played Stalker. I've not played Slender Man. It's like, you know, it's like, oh man. I mean, it's got bad enough. Brevis was pretty rough. That was a pretty rough one, and so was another one that was man, affected. Man, that was immersive, but man, was that creepy. That's a creepy one. But
I missed it. I missed you streaming Affected.
Yeah.
I have to go to work on Monday mornings, which is your time. It's Sunday for you, but for me, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. It's like, you know, 5 minutes before I leave the house.
Exactly right.
So it sucks. I can only watch your recorded shows, and they lag a bit with the Hitbox TV because it's in its beta version.
Yeah.
It's not been working properly, so.
Yeah. Still catching up. Still some things going on. You know, I'm trying to get the videos to YouTube with the annotations as soon as possible, but yeah, man, I'm trying. It's so hard with the international audience to find a good time for everyone. But yeah, definitely. We'll see. I'll have to look into Stalker, but
yeah, definitely.
Scary one.
That's one of my favorite games.
Absolutely.
And I'm also interested in getting the games from the Nintendo 64 games, like Metroid. That looks great in VR. Hey.
Yeah, there's a lot of old Nintendo games, man. The Metroid is
Super Mario
so
Brothers
fun.
3D.
Yeah. Mario, man, it's like, what? It's so crazy. But yeah, Metroid is one of those things that I want to see all of it in VR, and I would love to see, you know, I know Nintendo would shut it down after it got to a certain point, but it would be so cool to see it really just, like, you know, with motion controls and really adapted really well. That would be awesome. So, all right. Excellent.
So, now that you've seen the new developer kit, the developer kit 2,
yep,
and the Crystal Cove, how much do you think they'll put in, or do you think they'll add in any more to the consumer version?
The consumer version, I'm not sure what they're gonna plan to do.
What do you think they could put in it?
I don't know, because I mean, you know, it goes to that whole thing that I think the development kit 2, it has to be very close to consumer unit, right? I mean, if you're gonna have developers making things that are gonna work with your consumer unit, like you can't change too much. I have no idea what they're going to really add besides making things like a little better, tweaks for like you know, latency or things like that, like what actual parts are going to source, but I'm not sure if there's going to be any additional features. I wouldn't expect anything.
I was
like
talking
huge.
to the manager of an EV game store, and I was talking to him about it, and he thinks that now that Facebook has actually bought Oculus Rift, now they can actually start producing their own hardware, actually stuff for VR, rather than just mulching stuff or, you know, just pulling stuff off cell phones. They can actually have stuff specifically built for the headset.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what they're going to look to do. They're going to look to get their own screen produced, or, you know, get a hold of a screen that was out of their reach because it required so many thousands of order, you know, an order of so much quantity before you can even talk to the people that make it or whatever. So yeah, I think you know, it's going to be quality components, but I think the feature set is going to be very, very similar. It's I think it's going to be very similar to the DK2, but I think what the major thing is going to be is to get those major hardware parts that they need to make it really awesome. So yeah.
You don't expect too much of a jump though from the developer kit to the developer kit 2. It was a huge jump. bigger screen, faster screen. Everything's faster, you know.
It is, but I mean, like you can't do that same thing from a developer kit to a consumer unit 1, because that negates the purpose of having a developer kit. It's like a developer kit is so developers and make stuff for your consumer unit. If your consumer unit is so far away from your development kit feature-wise, you're self-defeating. All right, we have another caller coming in. Rube, thank you so much for calling in, man.
Thank you. I finally got a chance to talk to you, and you know, you're great, man.
Awesome, man. Thanks very much, man. All right, thanks. Have a good night. Michael, talk to me.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, he's here. Yes, I can hear him. Excellent. Yes. Hey, what? Well, let me start right. Thank you for calling the Cymatic Bruce Talk VR. Michael, what do you have to say?
Hey, I just want to thank you, Bruce, because you know what? I've been watching you for months, and you make it harder and harder. I'm not a developer.
No.
I am I am basically the consumer. I am that guy who's just standing there waiting for like consumer version 1, and it's becoming harder and harder not to buy a dev kit, despite the fact that there's absolutely nothing I could do with it except for just basically what you do, just watch the community and see where it goes.
Yeah. Hey, there's a lot of people like that. They're like, you know what? It's so awesome. I just want to get a hold of it, even if I don't develop anything. Just let me have a piece of it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, hey, man. Well, I mean, here's the hope. With some people, they end up getting one and then become a developer. That sometimes happens, man. You get so excited about this, so compelled. Maybe you get that $20, download yourself some Unreal 4, and start learning. Start watching some tutorial videos, buddy. You know.
Yeah. I tried taking a program course in college, and it was one of those things. I realized I was not going to be a programmer. The moment where it's like I started to like it was I have always said suicide is the coward's way out, but I'm literally sitting there looking at the code, looking down at my wrist, looking at the code, and going, okay, you know what? I can't do this anymore.
Oh no.
All right. Well,
oh man.
I'll stop tying up your line. You can let whoever comes next come in. But nice talking to you, Bruce.
Man, nice talking to you too, Michael, man. Excellent. Look forward to the VR revolution, man. Thanks for calling.
Absolutely. Viva la revolution!
All right. Awesome. Chris is calling again, man. How you doing there?
Yeah, sorry about having to cut you off. I had to go feed the baby.
Hey, no problem.
I was hoping that I could maybe recant my early VR experience with you.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Tell me.
Well, okay, so back in the day, it was actually a surprise. It was actually a multiplayer experience. So I did this with my brother-in-law.
Awesome.
It was at Canada's Wonderland, and the units themselves, they kind of look like the Virtuix Omni. You know, you had to step into this circle. Okay, the headsets were quite big back then, and they had like the controller was like almost like a Razer Hydra, and it had like the spirally controller that went down, so it was wired.
Yeah, that's a virtual reality system, I bet. Virtual reality arcades were just like that.
Yeah, and it just had a trigger and a hat for moving, essentially. And so we got dropped into this underground, essentially. We were like in this tunnel underground, and we were wearing these white suits of armor, essentially. And the graphics were good for the day, so when I experienced it, it didn't strike me as the graphics being horrible. Of course, they would be by today's standard.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we started moving down this hallway, and there were these like ports along the floor, and these little spider-like things were coming out, and we had to shoot them, right? So I was shooting these things on the floor, and we just kept moving forward. So we killed all those things, moved down to the end of the hallway, and there was like an elevator at the end. So we moved into this elevator, and to go up, you just looked up. So we looked up, and you could see the lights kind of going past horizontally, right, as you moved up, basically.
Nice.
And I looked up, and you could see the square, like a square coming up to whatever the surface would be. And as we got closer to the surface, I could make out buildings. So there was skyscraper buildings and stuff up there, and they just got bigger and bigger and bigger until we came up to street level. And then
Nice.
we started. There was stuff. There was like people or whatever to shoot on the ground floor now. So we're running between these giant buildings and we're shooting these things. And you know, I got my arm low and we kill everything that I can see on the ground in front of us. And I'm still being hit, and it kind of dawns on me. And this is kind of like, I think a lot of people who try VR for the first time, who's been a gamer for many years, you really don't think to look around. You really don't think much to kind of move your head and take in the whole environment.
Truly.
So I looked up, and between these two skyscraper buildings across the road was a catwalk. And there was guys up on the catwalk that were shooting down at me, right? Because I couldn't see them. I'm like, oh, okay, they're up there. So instinctively, I brought my arm up like you would in real life to shoot them, right? Because I was holding my arm low.
Yeah.
And at that point, I saw my digital arm come up in front of me. Like it's big, it's just huge, holding this giant gun.
Yeah.
And I started shooting at them, and the shells started flying out of my gun. And I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. You know, because I could see all this stuff. And that was pretty much the end of it. It was like literally just a 4 to 5 minute before it ended. But it just burned into my memory, just the scale of everything, because I remember that the field of view wasn't the greatest. I mean, I'm sure it's not anywhere close to the 110 that we're going to be experiencing, because my brother-in-law was running behind me. And I'd look to my left and my right, and I'd be like, where the hell are you, guy? And he's like, I'm right behind you. I'm like, I don't see you. And I'm just kind of like looking left and right. He's like, I'm behind you. So I remember I had to like literally crane right around, like, you know, 180 degrees to look behind me to see him. And there he was, of course, you know, and the first thing that struck me again is scale. He was massive in this suit of armor and everything, right? And so I think those are a couple things that people are going to notice when they first go into VR, is that, you know, you almost have to train yourself to look around like you normally do in real life, because as a gamer who just game for years just staring straight ahead at a monitor, you know, I think those are some fun experiences that we're going to see in some of these things where they're going to force you to look around. You know, like that one demo sightline, it forces you to look.
Yeah.
That's good training.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's one of those things you don't think of in VR. Like it's one of those things, like you get into space and you're suddenly like, whoa, I got to look around. And then the next step after that is that paranoia that we were talking about, where you always think something's behind you.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you for sharing that experience. That was very cool, man. And that's like, there's nothing like seeing your virtual arm moved in conjunction with your real arm. Like the first time you see that happening is just wow. It's like a revolution in your brain. It's like, what?
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of like the horror genre, but my sister-in-law loves horror movies. Like, she just loves them, can't get enough of them, right? So
nice.
I'm going to get a few horror genre VR experiences and throw her in there and see how she likes being the subject of the horror experience. So I'm looking forward to watching that, actually.
Excellent. That should be a lot of fun. Oh, man. Awesome. Well, Chris, thank you for sharing, man. I appreciate it, and you have a great night, my friend.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you later. All right. Excellent. I am about to wrap up here. We are just about going 2 hours, and I need to get some sleep and do many other things as well. The night is not over ever. But very good. I think this is the last call. We're gonna have Micah finish off, since he's called in so many times tonight, and I love this guy. Tell me something, man. Hey, video. Yes.
What's up?
What's happening?
I had to throw up some video.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Do it up.
So, all right. I want to talk one more little bit about the controller thing.
All right, do it. Do it.
Okay, so imagine you have these Grove controllers, and you have the controller attached to your hand.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. So you can now detach this controller from your hand and leave it on the desk, but still have your Grove controllers. Right?
Yeah.
But then you can pick them back up and still have your controllers if you wanted to control just like whatever. This is just a little strap, but you know, use magnetics, whatever. It doesn't interfere. I've messed around with magnets and the not the stem, but the Hydra. But if you had a glove controller with controllers that you could attach to it, have any custom controller you can think of, I think that would be a good solution. That's all I want to say.
There we go. I like it. Excellent. I'm on board with that. Definitely. And I think that's the closest thing we can get that is Prio VR and plus STEM. I think it's not the glove quite, but dude, I'm telling you, Prio VR, it gets the 3 joints. It's really awesome, and it can have the stem represent you're holding something. That's like the preceding step to what you're talking about. I think it's that, and then after that, it's gloves and a totally tracked controller of whatever it may be, sword, gun, whatever.
I think
that'd be awesome.
Tracked thing is the glove, and then whatever you can attach to it is the medium. But
yeah, I mean that could be cool, man. I mean, I want the item track too. What if I want some nunchucks? What if I want actual nunchucks and I'm spinning? I want them tracked. Yeah, I want to just smack everything. I want to break everything on my entire desk as quickly as possible. Nice. Can I get that freedom? That's what I'm asking for.
You can.
All right. Thank you, Maya, man. Appreciate it, man. Have a good night. All right. That about wraps it up. I'm going to go ahead and put the TV away. This is great. Excellent. So it has been just a wild time. I am just so thrilled to be doing this show. Glad so many people actually called in and gave their 2 cents or 3 cents or 5 cents or whatever it was, which is great. I appreciate it. So yes. What else do I have to say? This Sunday, I will not be streaming most likely. I have a work retreat and I am out of town for the entire weekend. I think if I do anything, it's going to be very, very late Sunday. So we'll see, but it's most likely I won't have a stream this upcoming Sunday. Oh, sad. But I'm sure there's going to be like a Minecraft event or a VR chat event that'll be happening in lieu of that. Thank you for the comments on the virtual set here that we have. For those of you that actually remember, this is the set from Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Old show, might induce some nostalgia for some of you, but man, I had fun putting this together, and I think this is going to be the show set from now on. I really love it. It's a lot of fun. So that was very cool. All right, excellent. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thanks everyone for coming on the show, for talking VR with me. I am so thrilled to be a part of this community and to ride this wave of the VR revolution that we have going on right now. It's exciting times. So yeah, there we go. Excellent. All right, people. It has been a blast. Thank you so much for coming on, and I will catch you at the next VR experiment, probably next Wednesday, most likely. If I do something on Sunday night, I'll announce it. All right. Have a great night. Good night. Good morning. Good day. Good evening, wherever you are. Later.